had been doing a series of movies for TNT called The Librarian with Noah Wiley. And we had a lot of fun making those shows. And it was about the time the second one was debuting. I was in New York, and we were doing what's called the upfronts, which was when you sell to advertisers the shows of the next season. And Michael Wright, who's the head of TNT, said to me, "When do we get a TV series out of you?" And I said, "Well, what do you think about a show about a team of high-tech thieves who become modern-day Robin Hoods?" And he went, "Sold!" And I went, "Okay, I have a show." And I called John.
This is, by the way, typical Dean. It's like, I have a show, I don't have a show!
By the way, this never happens.
But the irony was, at that exact same moment, John and
Chris and I were drinking in my garage, which is nowhere near as pathetic as it sounds. It's a nice garage. And we were talking about the fact that a lot of heist and crime shows were very gritty at the time. It was really about 3 years ago when they were all very serialized and very dark. And we're talking about the shows we loved.
Yeah, Rockford Files, Mission Impossible. These were shows that were like fun, and that, you know, the cons were just, you know, and I guess around this time the Ocean's 11 movies had come out and kind of re-injected fun into the heist and con movie.
And our thing was really, you know, it's cool to watch a serialized show that builds to one giant heist, but end of day, when you're watching a heist or con show, what you want is the candy. What you want is how they did it every week. And you want the reward. And so we said, why don't we try to do that? And literally, by coincidence, Dean and I had lunch that week. And Dean's like, "God, I sold a show to TNT, but I don't have a show. It's a high-tech Robin Hood thing." And I'm literally about to go, "I have an idea for a show with Chris." Boom. It's as blind coincidence as that. So we went to TNT like the next week. Chris and I broke some characters. Like a week or two later, we laid out the characters. Parker was the first to break, weirdly. We knew we were going to do Parker. And then everyone else kind of fell in around that sort of broken thief character. And then, and insanely, they bought it in the room.
The three of us were having a meeting with TNT very early on in the process during the pilot. And some very smart people at TNT said to us, "Well, you know, if you could have anybody in the world, who do you see in this part?" And we all said, "Well, you know, we're looking for kind of a Tim Hutton type." And they said, "Well, why don't you just ask Tim?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, Oscar-winning actor's gonna do our little cable show." And then he found these pictures, and after a long drunken weekend,
they're really unspeakable.
In the garage.
In the garage we discussed earlier. It was kind of cool actually. Tim had been because he's a dramatic actor, so he gets all these scripts across his desk, like Kidnapped, the show we did before, where it's like angst and pain and rage. And and there's actually a line in the script of the pilot where it's during the break-in. In parentheses it says, "There's a bass line playing behind here. Come on, people, we're having fun." That's actually in the script. And he read it and went, "I want to have fun." And that's literally why he called us, was that line. It's like, I want to play this guy. I'll play him broken and play him drunk and play him wrecked, but I want to just have fun every week. And that's what brought him to the show.
And I mean, the opportunity in television, really, I mean, doctors, cops, and lawyers. I mean, you know what you're getting. But this was an opportunity for him every week to play a different character, and I think that's something that really appealed to an actor.
One of the giant cliches you always hear in moments like this is, you know, "Oh, we're a big family and we love each other."
No, I hate you.
And he does.
I do.
But the truth is all of us left other careers to go do this show because we thought it'd be fun, and it's been fun. And you know, when people visit our set, they're very surprised that people are actually having fun. You know, we have an Academy Award-winning makeup artist. We have Emmy Award-winning sound people. People came to the show making a lot less money than they used to make, but they're having fun again. And you know, at some point in your careers in this business, you make a choice. You say, "Well, I can make a ton of money and be miserable and age fast, or I could do something I'm really proud of and really have a lot of fun." And we've gotten an incredible group of people.
We should do that at some point. We should. Oh, this show. Oh, yes.
And it's been a great roller coaster ride and a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, cliches aside, I mean, you work a lot of other TV shows. It's like, and here are your Dr. Scrubs, and here's your one scene at home with your kid. That's your show. You know, our costume person literally every week is like, "What is it this week?" "It's magic." "Yes!" And then they go away. "What is it this week?" "It's a fashion show." "Yes!" And they go scurry away. You don't get to do that on other shows. And you know, even the actors, Aldis has even run through a bunch of accents this year. You know, the actors don't usually get tested like that.
By the way, not to pimp the DVD, but if you get the DVD of season 1, there's actually a really fun behind the scenes thing where we show 5 different takes of Aldis in the same scene from the
Homecoming, yeah.
And what's fun about it is that every single take, he's doing something completely different. And it just shows what an amazing person he is at improvisation. So you know, I recommend it if you're a fan of Aldis and you want to see how versatile this guy is. It's really cool to see that on the DVD.
Yeah, we let, you know, that's the great thing is even though we're in a tight 7-day shooting schedule, the actors by now know their characters. We let them run, you know, and 9 times out of 10, if we let them run, what they decide to come up with, decide to play with, winds up on screen.
Do we have any Parker fans out here? A fun story with Parker is that there were 2 actresses who came in for the final reading for the studio, and one of the 2 actresses, beautiful girl, very competent actor,
Very good.
and somebody that Jerry Bruckheimer would have hired in 2 seconds to star in a TV series. And she came in and read and was very good. But after she left, we turned to the people at the network and we said, she's great, we like her. This next girl's a girl we'd really like to hire. She's not kind of the typical girl you would normally hire in a show like this. So then Beth came in for the audition, didn't say one word, just came in.
Yeah, none of this, hi, I'm here, yeah.
She just read in character and then walked out of the room. At which point the head of TNT turned to me and said, is she crazy? And I said, I don't know, but I love her.
Her hair was in her face. Remember she came in and did like the crazy, angry, just hates everyone Parker. Yeah.
And again, one of the reasons why the shows on TNT are so much better than other networks is because they immediately all got it and they said, we love her too, let's go for her.
And that's your answer to why cable. Honestly, cable now, they let you make the show you want to make. You know, there's no trying to please a million viewers you'll never get anyway. There's no fighting for time slots. There's no, God, can you make it more like this other show? TNT, to its great credit, is like, your leverage. You're making this show, make the best version of it you can.
This is literally the show we came up with in the garage. I mean, you know, and in the world of television development, and John and I have gone through this, that is an impossible thing to say.
Yeah.
Because the hurdles you have to go through in the process and the compromises you have to make, eventually the thing that is on the screen is nothing like what you came up with. And I think, honestly, between the 3 of us, this is really the show we set up.
Yeah.
Guys like Michael Wright, Sam Linsky, who's here tonight, Lila McCarthy, they're our partners in the show. They don't act like they're our boss. They act like they're in the trenches with us trying to make the show work. And so instead of having these kind of ridiculous ego conversations, you have really adult conversations about content, about story, and it makes the show better. And that's why it's more fun to work in cable. The difficult thing is that I'm a producer on the show, and so I have to rein in the directors when they got out of control. And I'm a director who goes out of control. So
we call it the Dean cake, actually. It's like, you'll see shots in the Dean episodes where it's like, and that's some Dean cake right there. No other director's getting the Dean cake there. That's a big crane shot at night. Nobody else is getting that.
It's
Feeling
good to be the
underwater this
king.
week?
We're underwater, we're fighting sharks. Yes, Dean's directing.
Lasers.
Yeah. But you know, it's great having your studio and your producing partner be the guy who directed the pilot, because you know what show you're making. Week in, week out is not like going to the studio and going, no, this is leverage. It's literally, he directed the first one. He knows what it's supposed to look like. It makes our lives a lot easier. You know what's weird? Blowing stuff up is cheap. Stuff like the laser grids and stuff like CGI is expensive. Blowing stuff up is actually really cheap. We're doing a lot more of it this year.
Because I like to blow stuff up. We have a very large appetite on this show, and we have very little food on the plate. So anything we can do to put more on the screen, we try to do. But the other thing is, Portland actually wants us there. You know, one of the problems is you shoot in a lot of states where they've had a lot of TV production, and you show up and people turn up their radios really loud, and they want to pay off, and they don't want you there. You know, we show up at a location in Portland and people come out with like trays of cookies. Yeah, it's just nice to have people who actually are happy to have you there.
There's also the physical production aspect of the 3-hour difference. You know, a lot of people don't realize this, but we're shooting and writing at the same time. We're in the office. So if they're shooting in Boston, they're 3 hours ahead. You start shooting at 7 a.m. in the morning. That means if something's going wrong or they need a rewrite or something like that, we're getting calls at 4 a.m. And so really you want to try to stay in the same time zone. So when you start with that and then move to the cities that wanted to have us, Portland really stepped up. And having grown up in Boston, and Tim Hutton grew up in Boston, was kind of cool. Like in this episode, the bit where Chappie, the guy playing the mobster, is on the phone, we were standing on that spot going, I know exactly where we are in Boston. I can tell you where, like in Quincy, we'd be standing. it's as long as you don't shoot the mountain, Portland actually doubles for Boston really, really well, and doubles for a lot of other cities too. We thought we'd be flying a lot of actors up, backing up and forth there, and the acting pool in Portland's fantastic.
Move to Portland.
You're much more likely to get employed in Portland at this point. We use a lot of the local actors, and with the World Wide Web, they throw it up on a web page. We get to look at the auditions. And for example, the girl playing Zoe was a local, the dad playing local, Bonanno's a local. So we're expected to bring up 4 or 5 actors at a time. We're only really bringing up like 1 guest actor a week. So yeah, it's union and local, and about 95% of the jobs are Oregon jobs. I was looking at the YouTube video, literally going, "Oh, we should get a guy like him." And Chris said, "Why don't we just get him?" And dialed him. He was in LA on business for that week. And what Apollo does is he consults for law enforcement societies all around the world. And he has a team of professional ex-thieves, pickpockets, card sharps, that sort of thing. And also Evo, who is a specialist in fraud, credit card fraud, that sort of thing. And so we run our cons and crimes by him. And a lot of times he tells us what works, what doesn't work, what's a better way to do it, and what's real.
He's kind of like the choreographer too. When we do a lot of elaborate pickpockets, he's the one that figures out all the moves.
And when we can't afford to do an episode, he's the one who steals the money so that we No, he doesn't.
No, that would be wrong.
That would be wrong.
Totally wrong. And it's kind of cool, actually. The really cool thing about having Apollo is he taught all of the actors how to do certain lifts and certain pickpocketing. And he swears Beth Riesgraf is good enough to actually do it for a living. He said she has the softest hands he's ever seen. And there was a shot.
Nice lips, too.
Yes. No, don't that. No. No, wrong. Bad. Inappropriate.
Sorry.
Actionable, actually. If you watch last year's episode, Homecoming, where she lifts the 300-page document, she does a pickpocket. We did it the first time. Dean was directing. He said, "Okay, now let's do it this time, but actually take the document out of the bag." And she turned around with a big grin on her face, and she was holding the document. She'd actually stolen a 300-page document so smoothly we didn't catch it on camera, and we had to have her slow it down to actually show it. So Apollo's taught all the actors that, and he comes on regularly to help choreograph the pickpocket.
She's the Bruce Lee of pickpocketing.
Yes. How drunk are you?
I'm so drunk right now. 12 sheets to the wind.
The whole idea of the show was that on television you had, every show was about serial killers and murderers.
Yeah, every show about serial killers, there's only ever been 20 serial killers in the history of the United States. But we have caught those 20 guys like 50 or 100 times on every television show. So we really wanted to do like, hey, maybe a white dude in a suit could be a villain occasionally. Maybe that'd be okay.
The fun thing is to walk by the writer's room in the morning because they pick up the newspaper, they start reading it, and somebody yells, "I hate that guy!" And then he goes, "That's our villain."
Yeah.
And then we got
It was really, I remember one of the first episodes we broke last year was the rip-offs during Katrina, the guy who ripped off people rebuilding the houses during Katrina. And that was a true story, and he and I, the staff hadn't been hired yet, and had read it in the newspaper, and we're literally like, I can't believe someone could be this evil. If only someone could make this guy pay. Wait, we could make this guy pay. And that became the show. So they tend to start in 3 ways. Either a villain who we hate, who we read about in the newspaper and go, "Oh, we hate that guy," and then change just enough to legally not be liable.
We had to literally dial down Bernie Madoff.
Yeah, he was so evil no one would believe he
We couldn't
existed.
believe anything exists.
If we had written, remember the guy who the hedge fund manager who faked his suicide by jumping out of his plane and left his plane flying but left the door open? If we had written that in the script, you people would have been, come on. But it was real this year. I mean, that's how crazy things got. And so it's either a villain, a lot of times it's a specific crime or heist.
Or someplace we want to live for an episode.
Yeah,
I mean,
like it'd be fun to watch them do,
school.
like Jury or Private School this year. I want to see the Leverage team steal a private school. I want to see Eliot deal with teaching kids named Indigo. That will be amusing for 10 or 15 minutes. So, it is. Luckily for us, Apollo actually is also a stage magician. The way Apollo got famous was he was doing a pickpocket routine for President Carter at the time. Ex-President Carter was Secret Service, and they said, you can't, of course, get close to the president. He said, well, can I pickpocket the Secret Service? So Apollo cleaned out the Secret Service agents, earbuds, IDs, guns, the whole shebang. And that's how he actually got famous, because President Carter said, "What? I thought you guys were supposed to protect me. This kid just literally took all your equipment off you." So he actually consulted. I also called a friend of mine, Dave Acker, who builds tricks for Penn and Teller. A lot of geeky friends in the geekosphere.
And Tim has a real interest in magic, and
he was really into that, actually. Yeah.
Every writer that came up there, he said, "I want to be a magician," and then we would say, "Okay," and then we'd come back to LA, and then another writer would go up and, "When am I going to be a magician?" And they'd come back, and then third time we said, "We better make Tim a magician."
So yeah, actually enjoys the episode ridiculously. He really dug into it, and what I really love about Tim is a lot of actors would try to make themselves a good magician. Tim really digs in on the fact he's a horrible magician. He just goes up there and sucks for like 20 minutes, and really kind of. And what's great is the extras in Portland didn't know, so the extras in Portland like, "Oh, we're on a TV show. This is so exciting. This Tim Hutton. God, he sucks." Should we laugh? Should we not? Oh, this is so embarrassing. And then we told them and they laughed and it was okay. But yeah, it's Tim is the magician and Parker is his assistant, which
it's pretty great.
It's a pretty great episode. Will Wheaton is, there you go, another geek in the room. Will Wheaton, of course, is a geek god who has an enormous internet kingdom. It's weird. It's just amongst geeks, you just kind of get to know each other. And
by the way, Dean discovered Will Smith, but we have a question about Will Wheaton.
Actually, Will Wheaton and I used to play ice hockey together.
That's right.
That's how we met. When he was doing Next Generation, we were playing ice hockey together, and he decided that the safe job would be the goalie. And Brett Hull's son did a slap shot that busted his helmet in half and gave him 19 stitches, and I got a call from the producers of Star Trek saying, "We hate you."
Please don't cripple our actors.
And he's fabulous in the show. Wait till you see him. He's awesome.
Really amazing. And what's kind of weird with Will Wheaton is because he's kind of geeky and he's got the geek vibe. Chicks dig Will Wheaton. Like up in Portland, all the girls kind of had crushes on him. There's just something about him. He's a lead in a show waiting to happen. Just somebody has to smarten up. We already have ours, but somebody else. But yeah, Will's great. He's fantastic in the show. You'll be really excited when you see him. Dean is totally unclear on the idea of Twitter. Often he sends me stuff just as notes like, "Hey, do you want to go to lunch?" It's not email, Dean. It's Twitter. People can read this.
100 people come to the office. Where's my
It's really awkward. So.
And John, I really enjoy your blog.
Thank you very much.
As well. I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Having read your
eyes
blog.
will adjust if you take your hand up. I stand up. I know.
It's true.
Oh, yeah, sorry. The whole birth of Hardison was the idea that a lot of my friends who are geeks are actually fairly cool guys and fairly successful, and it's about time we stopped doing that horrible stereotype. So Hardison really was meant to be a really kind of cool big guy, and the fact we got Aldis was a really good-looking guy and really fit. Really broke that stereotype, but we wanted to make sure that those references stayed current. And so we borrow our own geek references. Boylan's the other huge Doctor Who fan. So if you watch, you can see his fandom kind of evolve through the 2 seasons. There'll probably be some Torchwood thrown in this year just because Children of Earth was so good. Yeah. You'll notice the alias for Tim Hutton is actually Tom Baker for the entire year. That actually, he's my favorite Doctor.
Thank you guys so much for coming up. Give it up for John, Dean, and Chris.